we have work in progress in this area as well. With our additional staff, we'll take another look at our inspection process and identify other areas for improvement. We're researching industry resources to see how we can further enhance contractor training, and we're talking with other utilities on practices they may use for protection of nesting birds and animals. The last area, yes.
You said on the, is there any data yet on the cost of new contracts? In other words, we have new criteria, we redid. Is it a lot more expensive? Do we know yet? Can we compare apples to apples, or do you have any data you can tell us?
Our bids for the new fiscal year will be in the spring, and that'll give us more information on how the program changes may have affected the work and may affect costs. I think we'll have better information about that in the spring.
Liz,
Yes.
Also earlier you mentioned about surveys being sent to customers, is that correct?
It's a telephone survey.
Okay, have they started yet? What's the progress on that?
They did just recently start, so we don't have enough data to report the results yet.
And when do we anticipate having?
We started them in December,
Okay.
and we intend to do 25 to 35 a month. So we want to wait until we get, 100 or 200, drawing conclusions from it.
Okay.
All right. The last area that we'll take a look at today is the dispute resolution process. Last December, KUB appointed its first vegetation management customer advocate. Quickly after the appointment, a direct phone line, email address, and an online form were set up so customers would know how to contact the customer advocate quickly if they'd like her to take a look at an issue. After looking at best practices, past customer issues, and talking with some current customers, the customer advocate was able to formalize a dispute resolution process and publish that for our customers. Today's process includes elements recommended by the panel, including the option for formal mediation, an option to have a third-party tree professional take a look at the trees in question and provide a professional opinion. The customer advocate has worked with about 9 customers to date, and there have been a variety of outcomes, and the detail of all of those is provided in the report that you've received today. But we feel like each interaction between a customer and our customer advocate allows another opportunity for a careful review of our policies, practices, and procedures. So we appreciate the process, and it helps us make adjustments over time to make changes in our program and find out how we can improve customer satisfaction. In closing, I want to emphasize, while this has been a challenging process for us, it's been extremely rewarding for those of us who work with the programs. We've had help from all around the company, so there's a large number of people involved in this effort at KUB. And all of us at KUB want to do a good job, not only with our vegetation program, but with all of the programs we work with. So it's rewarding for us to be part of the process and to look at the results. We're really excited about what we've accomplished over the last year, but I do want to note that we're clearly not finished with our work. I talked about several projects that are still in progress. We will see those through until completion, but not only that, we'll continue forward with our program with continuous improvement, always looking at our key metrics and customer feedback to identify additional areas for improvement and make changes along the way.
Our cost for this, we've increased our arborists from 1 to 5. We hired communication persons, marketing. Those are probably a one-time deal. The increased training, is that provided by us, or we give them, so we have to pay for that? And the evaluation. Do you have any idea what the total cost is for this program so far?
I think when we were here last year or 14 months ago, we told you we thought it would be somewhere between $250,000 to $500,000, and rough numbers are about $350,000, including the staffing, including the training, including the phone system, the software, everything inclusive. And we think spread among all of our electric customers, that's a prudent use of ratepayer money.
I just want to make a comment on the communication. We're using phones. I still think emails and texting.
We were in a meeting on that yesterday, and your name came up.
Yeah, going forward, I can't tell you how many 20-some-odd year clients I have that I never see them, I never talk to them, everything is done by email and text. And I think looking forward, to put that, to implement that would be.
What's the acronym, Mike, for the restoration?
ERT?
ERT. We had a meeting on ERT yesterday, and that is a component of it, and we're working toward achieving that this year.
And then you'll save on people calling you back, because once you get the text, you get it and you immediately, so that could save on just staff having to answer the phone.
I was gonna ask, how does the customer with a complaint get to the customer advocate? Does it go through the call center, is it through you guys, or?
It can happen in a variety of ways. The information to contact her directly is in the customer guide, so they can call that direct phone line. They can send an email directly to her. There's an online form that they can complete to get in contact with her. They can call the call center and get in touch with her. Or if we have a situation in the field where our foresters have not been able to resolve the issue to the customer's satisfaction, we tell them about that process. It's listed in the customer guide. We show them that information and let them know that they can contact her.
Liz, you have a question? I have a personal comment. Are these printed in Spanish as well?
No, they're not today.
I think with our population we have, the fastest growing population in the area, no matter get few, just in case, we convert that over to them. Another thing too, I guess 3 weeks ago, they were on my property, and I must say I was very pleased with how they conducted themselves and with the tree trim and all. I wish they had taken more out for me, but but they done an excellent job, and I commended them on that too while I was there. I sat out there with them to actually watch them do it, and I was very pleased with how they conduct themselves, how they handle themselves, the safety. It was really something to see how that crew worked at my property.
Did they know who you were?
I told them afterwards,
Okay.
and but they carried on very well. She did.
Thank you. I'll be
It's a
sure
good
to pass
job.
that on to their supervisor as well.
Let me ask, we budget or plan for a certain number of miles of trimming per year, right?
Yes.
And I know in 1 year that'd be hard to get a handle, but has this slowed us down in that regard, or have we been able to
We're
still get
maintaining
to our?
our schedule.
Talking about the dispute resolution from the time that, and I read through the 8 or 9 individual ones, from the time that it gets to I guess, that's Betsy, to the resolution, and I know they're all going to vary, but about how much time are we talking?
It does vary. She tries to work things out with them as quickly as possible, but in some regard it's up to the customer having time to think about the options. Unless there's an immediate safety concern, we want to allow the customer time to think about their options and get back with us. So we don't let it drag on unnecessarily, but we do want to give that customer adequate time to think about options and think about any proposals they might want to make back to us.
What are we talking about?
I think
A
most
week?
of them a matter of a week.
2 weeks?
Several.
And is most of this done before the crews are in the neighborhood? So it's not slowing the crews down?
The objective is to engage the customer advocate on the front end, so when the trim occurs, that process is completed and it can go on. There are exceptions to that, and we use some customer sensitivity to determine those exceptions, but the process is designed so that hopefully we can get them incorporated into the normal trim with their special requests.
As we're moving along here, let me re-recognize Mr. Irwin, Mr. Burke, Mr. Bletner, Mr. Silverstein, Mr. Humble. You guys, we appreciate your time. Before on the panel, I know it was an exhaustive process. I, for one, think that it was a very good thing. I think you can see the work in progress to improve the whole vegetation management program. Do you guys have any questions while you're here? And we have Liz here, or comments, or would you like to say anything about the?
I just have one short comment to the board because of some of the questions I think that need to be put a tad bit in perspective. We're basically on a 3-year trim cycle. So until you go through that 3-year trim cycle, you're not going to know totally what your results are. We've had some trimming since it was implemented in Sequoia. For the first time ever, we had no complaints. I didn't get one phone call. That's a miracle, trust me. But you put a caveat with it. It was a very small area. So until we go through the whole process, we're not going to have a total picture of what we've got.
Thank you. That's a great point, and I think the staff realizes that, and I think the board should too. I think everybody in this room needs to embrace this whole communication process. We're all involved, and need to be involved in communication. That's why we appreciate you taking the time to be here, because I think you realize how important it is. Each of us probably hears comments in passing, funny or not, about vegetation management and appropriate or not. And I think it's our job to kind of boil that down and keep using it to improve the process. Mr. Grieve and Ms. Palmer, thank you also again for being here. Do y'all have any, I'm sure you're going to get questions or comments too. And hope this information will help you spread the word, or at least be able to answer in the right way about the process.
I will add that this report will be placed on the website in the matter of a couple of days. So anyone who wants to refer people to see the full report can do so on the website. It'll probably be up by Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Will you also send it to each one of the council members?
If you would like.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Okay. I believe that concludes our official business. Is there any other business from the commissioners? I understand Mr. Austin is here to address. Would you like to say something, sir? We have a 5-minute time limit if you do.
My concern is the Oak Ridge Highway project. If you're familiar with the Western Avenue, there are 5 lanes in it now. And I have talked to several KUB people about trying to get sewer from the Ridgedale Hill down to the Shaft Road, where we gravity fed at least laying some dry line. And they said there's no plans for sewer to come to that area. For the last 8 years since I've owned this property, the first people I called about sewer was people that was downhill from me, which was Hallsdale Powell. At that particular point in time, Hallsdale Powell had to stop. There was in a lawsuit with KUB because they couldn't go no farther with bringing sewer to us. Now there is a sewer project underway on Grassy Creek, which is at the very end of this road construction. It just makes sense to go ahead and put the lines in while Oak Ridge Highway is being tore up from, this is a 2,500 foot line that I'm talking about, from the top of the Ridgedale Hill down towards the Carnes community of this Grassy Creek area. If we're going to bring it up Grassy Creek over to the golf course to service them, why can we not go ahead and extend it out into the Oak Ridge Highway area while that road is under construction? It would just make sense to do that now.
I don't think any of us here will be qualified to answer you, but I promise you we'll direct the staff to.
And also, I understand it's a money situation. A lot of the pipe that has been bought for that project, because we were under the shovel-ready type thing, because this was stimulus money, that some of the stuff was misfigured. There is a bunch of pipe that is not going to be used on this project that help go towards this extension of this one little area that I'm talking about. I know that's not a big cost factor, but you also want to take into factors, you're not going to have to replace roadways or anything like that. So now's a good time to look at it while this road project's going, rather than drag our feet and wait till after the road project's going and say, hey, we should have put sewer in.
Can I just ask a question? How many people are involved, would be involved in this?
I don't really know. But there's several good-sized tracts of land up Oak Ridge Highway. Now, the reason that they say that the project's coming through Grassy Creek, which happens to be coming through my mother-in-law and father-in-law's backyard, and the reason it's coming through there, they say, is because of growth and development along the Shad Road area, which will eventually be four-lane. Which, you know, that will end up going from Clinton Highway or from 75 to 40, eventually all the way through from Lovell Road to Callahan is going to be the finished product there. We don't know when that's coming, but yet sewer is coming to that particular area because they're worried about growth and development in that area, which I understand there's a condo that's planning on being built somewhere around the golf course. But as of right now, Oak Ridge Highway is being developed. Anytime you get a major road like Oak Ridge Highway being 5-lane, you're going to have growth and development come with that 5-lane. So why can't we be ready for it? It's already got gas, we've got 3-phase ferries, you've got your water sources, so why not add sewer while we're coming up through there? Because now it can be gravity fed, because that's the reason that I've been told for the last 8 years that they haven't even thought about this. That side of the hill is because they have to pump it up and over the hill back into Third Creek area. And so now, with the Grassy Creek project coming into effect, it looks to me like this would be the time to look at Oak Ridge Highway too, because Grassy Creek has not been approved. It's not a foreseen deal right now, it's a for sure deal, Grassy Creek.
It's being planned and evaluated, but we have no definitive construction schedule.
Right, so why can it not be included into these plans that they're planning for the Grassy Creek area? Because this is an adjacent to that area.
Commissioners, we've looked at it, we've had a number of individuals talk with Mr. Austin.
KUB's been great about talking.
Yeah, we've had discussions with him, we talked to Julie and I talked with him a little bit before this meeting. To be honest with you, it boils down to just economic feasibility. He is 2,500 feet away or so.
Well, I'm not just talking about for me, because actually KUB has come up with a plan that if I ever need sewer, that I have an escape code. But my neighbors don't have that. There's a gentleman that he passed away now, that his house is, the road easement actually took part of his excess in drain field. I don't know if you know what that means. That means if the drain field goes bad, he has nowhere to put any more because the state highway comes through and took it. You know, which I know that's not KUB's problem, but we do have an issue there. There's a large 5-acre tract across from me that a gentleman was looking at putting a home for the aged in that area. And that gentleman is, Mike Gordon's his name, and I guess he held up on that project probably because of the economy and everything else, and there's no sewer.
But his project, to be able to serve him today, he's about $500,000 away from a proposed project, which is about $500,000 or so away from existing sewers. So we're talking about substantial dollars to be able to serve this piece of property and maybe a dozen or so others between the 2 points. So it is a matter of economic feasibility.
But is sewer being considered in the future, not the near future, but the future for this area, for Oak Ridge Highway? Is it ever being considered for that area?
It would be considered today if it were economic feasibility.
Well, I mean, in
Yes,
the
at some point in
future,
time, we
well-
have to consider the fact that it may be the right time and that the dollars will be supported on the project, but today it is not.
Right, well, I understand that, but the only thing I'm saying is right now, we do have a road project that's underway. And, you know, it looks to me like now would be the time to at least lay some dry lines in. And we've got a place to hook them up to now because of the situation that you're looking at along Grassy Creek, which, by the way, they are buying easements as we speak for the Grassy Creek area. So they've done send out notices and offers to the neighbors. So it must be a done deal, because why would you be buying easements if the Grassy Creek wasn't a done deal?
We'll be glad to look into it.
Yeah, I think we'll ask the staff your appropriate questions.
Because, you know, at the Shad Road interchange, you've got some great potential in there for growth and development. And there's several large tracts of land. And the only way we want to have growth and development is to have the utilities there. So that's the only thing I'm asking, if we could check into that on that aspect.
Okay, well, I appreciate you taking the time and coming to ask about that. Does anybody else have any comments? Questions? If not, I'm going to declare this meeting adjourned. And following adjournment, the board and staff will have a lunch session across the hall that is open to the public. Meeting adjourned.